Let's be honest about what a normal morning looks like. Does it start with the gentle glow of sunlight? Or does it start with the harsh blue glow of a screen? For me, and I suspect for many of you, it was the screen. Before my feet even touched the floor, my thumb would be in motion, scrolling through a highlight reel of other people's lives, reacting to yesterday's news, and drowning in a sea of urgent but not important emails. My mind felt like a web browser with 100 tabs open all at once. My focus was shattered into tiny pieces. I would start a task at work only to be pulled away by a notification. I'd try to read a book, but my hand would instinctively reach for the phone in my pocket. At the end of the day, I felt perpetually busy, yet strangely unproductive. I was exhausted, not from hard work, but from the constant, low-level hum of digital distraction. This isn't a failure of willpower. It's a feature of our modern world. Our brains are hooked on a powerful chemical, dopamine. And I decided it was time to break the cycle. I embarked on a 48-hour complete dopamine detox. An experiment to starve my brain of the cheap, easy stimulation it had grown addicted to, in the hopes of rediscovering what real focus, creativity, and presence actually feel like. This is the story of that weekend. Before we dive into the journey, it's important to understand the enemy. Dopamine isn't inherently bad. It's a neurotransmitter that's crucial for motivation and reward. When you accomplish something, your brain releases dopamine, making you feel good and encouraging you to repeat that behavior. The problem is, our digital world has hijacked this ancient reward system. Social media notifications, video games, endless scroll feeds, and streaming services are engineered to be dopamine slot machines. They provide an unpredictable stream of small, easy rewards that keep us pulling the lever again and again. Over time, our brain adapts to this constant flood. It becomes desensitized. This means we need a bigger and bigger hit to feel the same level of pleasure. Simple, natural joys like a walk in the park, a quiet conversation, or reading a chapter of a book start to feel boring. They can't compete. I realized I wasn't just distracted. My brain's entire reward circuitry had been rewired. The only way to fix it was to cut off the supply and let my dopamine receptors reset. So I set the rules for my 48-hour experiment from Friday at 6 p.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. The goal was to eliminate all sources of high, unnatural dopamine stimulation. The banned list was extensive. No smartphone except for emergency calls. No computers or internet browsing. No television or movie streaming. No video games. No music with lyrics, as it can be highly stimulating. No junk food, sugar, or processed snacks. And to make it even harder, no caffeine. The allowed list was beautifully simple: reading physical books, writing with a pen and paper, going for walks in nature, meditation and quiet reflection, exercise, cooking healthy meals from scratch, cleaning and organizing my living space. Essentially, anything that was slow, intentional, and existed purely in the physical world. I put my phone in a box, unplugged the router, and began the deafening silence. So I set the rules for my 48-hour experiment, from Friday at 6 p.m. to Sunday at 6 p.m. The goal was to eliminate all sources of high, unnatural dopamine stimulation. The ban list was extensive. No smartphone except for emergency calls. No computers or internet browsing. No television or movie streaming. No video games. No music with lyrics, as it can be highly stimulating. No junk food, sugar, or processed snacks. And, to make it even harder, no caffeine. The allowed list was beautifully simple: reading physical books, writing with a pen and paper, going for walks in nature, meditation and quiet reflection, exercise, cooking healthy meals from scratch, cleaning and organizing my living space. Essentially, anything that was slow, intentional, and existed purely in the physical world. I put my phone in a box, unplugged the router, and began the deafening silence. Friday night was brutal. The silence in my apartment was overwhelming. Every few minutes, my hand would twitch, reaching for a phone that wasn't there. I felt a phantom vibration in my pocket more than once. This was a physical, neurological craving. I paced around my living room, feeling a profound sense of restlessness, an internal itch that I couldn't scratch. My brain was screaming for a distraction, for a hit of anything. Saturday morning, I woke up without an alarm. The first hour of the day was the most difficult. I didn't know what to do with myself. I made a cup of herbal tea and just sat by the window, watching the world wake up. It felt impossibly slow. The boredom was immense, almost painful. It felt like every cell in my body wanted to escape the present moment. To combat this, I forced myself into action. I went for a long walk, deliberately leaving any headphones behind. For the first 20 minutes, my mind raced. But then, something began to shift. I started noticing things I'd never seen on my usual route. The intricate pattern of a spider web. The specific shade of green on new leaves. The sounds of the city weren't just noise anymore. They were individual layers of life happening all around me. My senses, starved of digital input, were slowly coming alive. When I woke up on Sunday, the intense craving was gone. It was replaced by a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. A deep, profound sense of calm. The mental fog that had become my normal state of being had started to lift. My thoughts were no longer a frantic, chaotic storm. They were clear, linear, and easy to follow. I sat down with my journal, and for the first time in forever, the words just flowed. There was no resistance, no urge to check something else. Ideas for my work, for my life, for creative projects, they bubbled to the surface effortlessly. It became clear that the constant noise I had been living in wasn't just distracting me. It was actively suppressing my own inner voice and creativity. I spent the afternoon cooking a meal. Not as a chore, but as a form of meditation. I focused on the feeling of the knife chopping vegetables, the smell of garlic hitting the pan, the vibrant colors of the food. It was a fully immersive sensory experience. The simple act of providing nourishment for myself felt more rewarding than any social media like I had ever received. The world seemed to have switched from standard definition to high definition. Everything was more vibrant, more real. At 6 p.m. on Sunday, the alarm on my watch went off. The experiment was over. I took my phone out of the box with a strange sense of hesitation. As I turned it on, the screen lit up with a barrage of notifications, hundreds of them. And my first feeling wasn't excitement. It was anxiety. It felt loud, invasive, and incredibly trivial. The results of the detox were undeniable. First, my focus was transformed. The following week at work, I could concentrate on difficult tasks for hours at a time, entering a state of deep flow that had been impossible before. Second, my baseline level of anxiety was significantly lower. The false urgency of the digital world had been exposed. Third, my creativity was on fire. Boredom, it turns out, is the soil in which new ideas grow. Finally, my appreciation for simple, real-world pleasures had returned. A good conversation, a beautiful sunset, a quiet moment. These were now the rewards my brain craved. Going back wasn't about quitting technology forever. It was about re-establishing control. I now practice a digital diet. My phone doesn't enter my bedroom. I have designated times for checking email and social media. I schedule regular time for quiet, disconnected activities. It's not about total abstinence. It's about conscious, intentional use. This 48-hour experiment was more than just a break from my phone. It was a journey back to myself. It proved to me that my brain wasn't broken, it was just overwhelmed. By intentionally starving it of cheap stimulation, I allowed it to heal and rediscover where true satisfaction lies. You don't need to lock yourself away for a full weekend to feel these benefits. I challenge you to start smaller. Try a screen-free evening once this week. From 7 p.m. until you go to bed, put all screens away. Read a book. Talk to a loved one. Go for a walk. Just see how it feels. Take the first step to reclaim your focus and your peace of mind. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe for more journeys into self-improvement. And I would genuinely love to know in the comments, what is the one digital habit you would most like to change? Thank you for watching.